What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing. I just finished up watching Tim Tszyu versus Tony Harrison, and this was a 12-rounder for the interim WBO super-welterweight world championship, and this fight was Saturday, March 11th, from the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, Australia, and this fight was broadcasted on Showtime. And in this fight, Tim Tszyu was able to get a very nice 9th round knockout victory over Tony Harrison. So this was a very nice win, like I stated before, for Tim Tszyu. He got it in the 9th round, which is what he basically predicted. He said he was going to drown out Tony Harrison in the 9th, and he made his promise, stopping him in the 9th round, obviously. Leading up to the stoppage, I had this bout scored 79-73 in favor of Tim Tszyu. This was a very good performance from Tszyu. I mean, I thought this fight was going to be much, much closer. So did many people in the boxing world on YouTube and just overall in boxing itself, aside from obviously other YouTube channels. But most of the other boxing channels were really thinking this was going to be a close one. I ultimately picked Tim Tszyu to win by late knockout, but I thought it was going to be a really, really competitive fight. I thought it'd be similar to when Tony Harrison fought Jermell Charlo in their second fight, where he was winning in a very close fight. Either man could have been up. I had him up by a point or two, and then he got knocked out in the 11th round. I thought it was going to be something like that, very dramatic, but in this case, what really happened was a very smooth sailing win for Tim Tszyu, and then in the 9th round, he picked it up and knocked out Harrison. So just to break this fight down round by round, the first round was the only round I gave to Tony Harrison. He landed some nice jabs there on flush on the face of Tim Tszyu in that round. Tim Tszyu tried to get in with the right hand some, but it was not enough, so I gave the first round to Harrison based on the jabs. But then round number 2, Tszyu started to become more active, and then in the 3rd round, the biggest punch of the fight, besides when the fight was ended in the 9th round, this happened in the 3rd round where Tony Harrison was wobbled with a big overhand right from Tim Tszyu. He got wobbled back into the corner. But then from rounds 4 through 8, I mean, really, those were rounds that Tim Tszyu just won, in my opinion, pretty clearly. There was a few rounds here and there where Tony Harrison would land some decent counters, but the thing is, Tony Harrison would land a counter right hand, but then to fire back to that counter that Tszyu got hit with, he would fire back with his own combinations. He would land the same amount of punches, if not more, than Tony Harrison when Harrison would land. So, I mean, really, Tim Tszyu kept his work rate up, landed far more power punches than Tony Harrison, landed almost 3 times more power punches in total. I mean, primarily most of the shots Harrison were landing was jabs, but in those middle to later rounds, when the later rounds, or I guess you could say in those middle rounds, Tim Tszyu really was just pressing Tony Harrison. Harrison's back was against the ropes most of the time. He was trying to jab Tim Tszyu. He would obviously, like I mentioned before, he would land some nice shots here and there, but Tim Tszyu was overall doing much more coming forward and throwing much more active, faster, and more effective combinations. But then to get to the 9th round where the fight ended, so Tim Tszyu landed a massive right hand on Tony Harrison that sort of stood him still in the center of the ring, and that one big right hand really did hurt Harrison because Harrison's defense was really bad. It was really poor. He was not really keeping his hands up that effective. He was just getting hammered with big right hand after big right hand and not really defending himself properly. He was backing up, wobbling, getting hit with big right hand after right hand. Then he ultimately got up against the ropes, started getting hit even more, flush, not defending himself that great. He was really, really hurt. Then he almost turned fully to his back to the, or he almost turned his back almost fully to Tim Tszyu while getting hit because he was just such poorly defending himself. Because, I mean, I would assume that he didn't know where he was at that moment since he was getting hit so much. And I wonder if that first shot that he got hit with messed up his equilibrium because he was really all over the place getting hit with those big shots. Then after he almost had his back turned, he got hit with some more shots, went down, and I'm shocked that he got up because he got hit with so many big, powerful right hands from Tszyu. He wobbled around the ring a bit, and then the referee waved it off. So it was a big win for Tim Tszyu, 100%. He looked very, very good. Compared to his fight against Terrell Gausha, I mean, he looked phenomenal. This was expected to be a really, really close fight in the end, but Tim Tszyu Definitely silenced the critics from his last fight in this one, getting a nice win over here. A dominant performance over Tony Harrison to become the new interim WBO champ. So this goes on the question, what is next for Tim Tszyu? Obviously, the winner of this fight is supposed to get Jermell Charlo for the Undisputed World Championship, and that is the sole fight I think will happen next for Tim Tszyu. I think he will be fighting for the Undisputed World Championship in the next few months against Jermell Charlo. But as for Tony Harrison, losing here for the fourth time in his career, fourth stoppage loss. Prior to this fight, he fought Sergio Garcia, looked pretty solid. I think we should expect to see Tony Harrison back in the ring on a Showtime card in his next fight against a decent level top 15, maybe even top 10 fighter in the super welterweight division. I mean, who knows? Maybe we could possibly see Tony Harrison take on maybe a decent level prospect, maybe like someone like an Armando Resendiz. Resendiz, although he fights at 160, he just beat Jared Hurd in a very fun fight last week. So I mean, who knows? What if we'll be able to see Tony Harrison fight someone like that in a Showtime card, or fight someone else who's like a decent level fighter. So for Tony Harrison, I still think he's going to be getting some decent fights. I don't really think he's going to be getting a world title shot, because this was one big opportunity to possibly beat Charlo again, if he was able to beat Tszyu, obviously, but it didn't happen here, and he lost in this interim title bout, which would have set him up to fight for the undisputed championship in a trilogy against Charlo if it would have happened. But yeah, like I said before, he did lose. But yeah, for Harrison, he'll probably fight a decent level fighter, top 15, maybe top 10 in his next fight, most likely on a Showtime card. So overall, Tim Tszyu knocks out Tony Harrison in the 9th round to become the new interim WBO super welterweight world champion, and to punch his ticket to fight Jermell Charlo for the Undisputed World Championship in his next fight. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.